Aye, this vessel passed through some heavy storm weather this week, crew. The kind of storm that leads a sailor stiff in the bones, weary in the mind, and exhausted deep in the soul. There be storms of the sea, and there be storms that a man carries silently behind his own eyes. And I tell you true, this old captain was feeling the weight of the voyage. But then, one of our fellow artistic sailors reached across the storm, not with cannon fire, not with sword in hand, but with music, with beauty, with art crafted from emotion itself. And somehow, through melody, through movement, through the strange and beautiful language artistic souls speak, miraculously the storm began to calm. Aye, never mock the artistic sailor crew. For some men fight storms with rope and steel, and others fight them with song and stone. And this week's Torah portion teaches us something many sailors forget. The king counts those souls too. Welcome aboard to Treasures in the Torah. But before we begin this voyage through the wilderness, before the banners rise above the tribes, before the roll is called among the people of Israel, let every wandering sailor remember, there be one king above every sea, one master above every storm, and one eternal covenant still calling his people home. Please join me in reciting the Shema, the prayer of our people. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kavod, Malchuto, Leolam Vayed. Excuse me. From the wilderness of Sinai to the storms that still rage within the hearts of men, the Torah remains the compass for every wandering soul. So gather close now, crew, and let us search once more for the treasures hidden within the Torah. Because there'll be treasures in the Torah. There'll be treasures in the Tanakh. There'll be treasures in the Torah.
From names once hidden, roots we reclaim. From scattered sparks, we learn our name. Through longest night, the call remains the same. Echo truth, no time restrained. Treasures in the Torah, long proclaimed. Ancient truth becomes eternal flame. By the Torah's light, we chart our way through darkest night to break of day. Across the seas where exiles roam, the written word becomes our home. What once was hidden now is shown, guiding us where truth has grown. From generations, voice in flame, we rise to walk the path again. Avast me hearties, welcome to Treasures in the Torah. Welcome aboard.
Aye. Welcome aboard once again, crew, to Treasures in the Torah, where we sail the ancient seas of the Hebrew Scriptures, seeking the hidden riches buried within the words of the Torah. Not riches of silver, not riches of gold, but wisdom, truth, identity, and the eternal covenant of the Holy One of Israel. And tonight, our voyage carries us into the wilderness itself, into a portion that reminds weary sailors of something this world often forgets. The King still counts the souls underneath his banner. Parashat Bamidbar begins with words that every sailor should understand deeply. In the wilderness, not in comfort, not in triumph, not in safety, nay, the wilderness. And the wilderness changes a man, for the wilderness strips away distraction. It strips away false confidence. It strips away applause. It strips away illusion. In the wilderness, sailor finally hears his own thoughts away from the distractions of the world around him. And sometimes that be a truly frightening thing. The wilderness forces a sailor to confront who he is, what banner he sails beneath, and whatever he still believes the King remembers him at all. Does the King still remember me, he thinks to himself as he's wandering, feeling abandoned in the wilderness. Many souls begin to believe in the wilderness while they're wandering, that I no longer matter. I no longer belong. I have drifted too far. But Bamidbar answers otherwise. The Torah says that the King still counts the souls in the wilderness. And once the wilderness strips away comfort, strips away pride, strips away distraction, the next question becomes, does the King still see the souls wandering there? HaShem commands Moshe to count the people. HaShem commands. Moshe to count the people. Now, I need you to understand this carefully, crew, that this was not inventory. The King was not counting cargo upon a merchant vessel. He was counting souls. Every tribe, every family, every banner, every place within the camp, even in the wilderness, every soul still mattered. The quiet souls mattered. The weary souls mattered. The souls struggling silently mattered. And hear me carefully now. That includes the artistic souls as well. For the Holy One did not merely count the people. He gave them banners, identity, a place within the camp. Each tribe carried its own banner into the wilderness, its own identity, its own calling, its own place within the camp. A ship without a banner drifts without identity. And many artistic sailors spend their lives feeling as though they have no harbor, no place that they truly belong. The actors, the dancers, the musicians, the storytellers, the painters, the sculptors, the acrobats swinging high above the deck. Many souls walk this world feeling strange among the crew around them, not because they are weak, but because they often feel life more deeply than the others. They notice tension in a room immediately. They hear sorrow hidden inside the song. They carry moments in their memory long after others have forgotten them. And because they experience the voyage differently, many begin to believe that they do not belong anywhere at all. Some artistic souls spend years trying to become what the rest of the world expects them to be. Harder, colder, less expressive, less emotional. They attempt to bury the very gifts that HaShem placed within them. But the Torah teaches otherwise. And it needs to be said that when HaShem gave Adam and Eve, the authority to name the animals, he gave them the artistic freedom to do so. And their decisions on the names carried authority, carried power. They named the animals anything that they could think of in their head. They were creating with their words. As a reflection is how HaShem himself spoke the world into existence. When HaShem creates something from nothing, and an artist creates a melody out of a completely inanimate instrument, or moves a dance for the fibers of their body, or can sculpt an image from a stone, or take a blank piece of canvas or cloth and etch forth a beautiful rendition, or pull down a stage in a market square and act and tell stories that permeate into people's minds from nothing. Artists have a very important call. They are, in fact, rehearsing and continuing HaShem's call to create from nothing. Artists are not losers. Artists are not the ones that hang out on the dock asking for money constantly. They are following the ordained path that HaShem has planted in their life. They attempt, however, in this culture, to bury these very gifts that HaShem has placed in them. But we need to remember something very important, that in the wilderness, the Holy One, blessed be He, did not erase identity. He established it. The banners were not accidents. They were assignments. Each tribe stood beneath its own colors, its own calling, its own purpose within the greater camp of Israel. And perhaps that be part of the sorrow artistic souls carry. For many spend years searching for the banner beneath where they belong. But Bamidbar says otherwise. The king himself assigned the banners. The king himself assigned the banners. And among those banners in the wilderness, there were souls who likely felt different from the others. Quieter souls, creative souls, artistic souls, the kinds of sailors that this world often misunderstands. This world considers odd or strange or weird. But there be artistic sailors among us who experience the voyage of life differently from others. They see even the very light differently. Such souls often feel beauty more deeply, but they also feel sorrow more deeply. They notice the storm before the rain begins. They hear ache hidden inside melody. They carry emotion in their very bones. The sculptor sees the figure hidden inside the stone long before the hammer even strikes the first blow. The actor feels emotions many sailors spend years trying to bury. The dancer speaks through movements when words fall, and dances when words fail. And as a result, walls fall. The musician reaches into storms hidden deep within the soul. And the acrobat, risking body and bone high above the ground, often carries silent fear beneath the performance. There be some souls who were never meant to become stone. There be artistic souls who walk through this world feeling out of step with nearly everyone around them. The room grows tense, and they feel it immediately. Music begins to play, and something inside their spirit awakens before the others even notice the melody. Beauty moves them deeply. Sorrow wounds them daily. Harsh words linger in their minds long after the rest of the crew has forgotten them. Many such souls spend years trying to harden themselves because the world teaches them, stop feeling so deeply, stop being so emotional, stop being so strange. Why don't you just fit in? But hear me carefully tonight, crew. The answer was never to become stone. The artistic sailor experiences the world so intensely that many spend their lives feeling strange among the crew. Misunderstood, mocked, dismissed, called dramatic, called unrealistic. Some spend years hiding their gifts because they fear rejection. Others bury their creativity beneath layers of armor simply to survive among harder men. And still others drift through life convinced that because they are different, that they must somehow be defective or lesser than others. If we were to be honest, most of them probably think at a certain time in their life that HaShem erred in creating them the way that he did. HaShem does not make mistakes, my brothers and sisters of the sea. He created you with a mission and a purpose that only you can fulfill. But hear me tonight, crew. The king still counts those souls beneath his banner. Some souls were built for battle, some for navigation, and some were built to carry beauty through the storm. And history itself bears witness to this truth. For many generations from now, there shall be, and there shall arise, one scattered children of Israel, artistic souls who carry beauty through terrible storms. Hear me now, crew. Among the scattered children of Israel, there shall rise a daughter of the Eastern Jewish world, whose voice shall sound like desert wind crossing ancient sands. She shall carry the songs of her people across nations, and weary souls shall hear beauty, ache, memory, and longing within her voice. Her name will be Ofra Haza. Her music shall carry both ancient sorrow and fierce beauty together like twin currents beneath the sea. And millions shall hear her voice, even if they do not fully understand why it moves them so deeply. But as with many artistic sailors, the lantern that gives warmth to others often burns fiercely within. Through multitudes shall love her music. Her voyage upon this earth shall end far too soon. And her loss, may her memory will be a blessing, will remind the world of something painful. The artistic soul often carries hidden storms no crowd can see. Remember this well, crew. The artistic soul often suffers silently while helping others survive their own storms. Yet, even those souls remain counted beneath the banner of the King. And perhaps that be why this portion strikes so deeply tonight, because there be souls listening right now who know exactly what it means to feel different among the crew. There be souls watching this voyage tonight that have spent years feeling different from the people around them. They've been labeled too emotional, too artistic, too sensitive, too intense. Perhaps music reaches you in ways that you cannot understand. Perhaps beauty itself wounds you sometimes, cuts you to the quick. Perhaps you feel the storms of life before the clouds even appear. Perhaps you feel the cold east wind blowing across your face and the sun be in the sky, and you know that rain is on its way. Hear me carefully tonight. That does not make you weak. That does not make you useless. That does not make you a waste of a person and a life. You are not a loser. You have a special calling. And it also does not mean that you do not belong. There are artistic sailors who spend years apologizing for the very gifts that HaShem placed within them. Apologizing for caring deeply. Apologizing for feeling deeply. Apologizing for seeing beauty where others see nothing at all but empty space. But the world desperately needs such souls. For when darkness settles upon the deck, it is often the artistic sailor who reminds the crew why life still holds beauty. The actor reminds us how to feel. The storyteller reminds us who we are. The dancer reminds men the beauty still exists even in difficult times. The sculptor reminds men that greatness may already be hidden within rough stone. And the acrobat reminds us that courage and fear often travel together in the same vessel. There be artistic souls who carry entire oceans within themselves. Souls who can sit quietly beneath the stars and feel something so deep they can't even fully explain it. Souls who hear one melody, one line of poetry, one moment of beauty, and carry it within themselves for years after the fact. And because such souls feel deeply, they are often wounded deeply as well. Cruel words linger. Mockery lingers. Rejection lingers. The world often tells such souls, become harder, become colder, stop caring so much. But hear me now, crew. If every sailor aboard a vessel becomes hard as iron, then who shall remind the crew why the voyage matters at all? There be storms where food alone can't save men. There be storms where strong walls cannot save men. There be storms where the soul itself begins to collapse beneath fear and exhaustion. And in such moments, it is often the artistic sailor who keeps men alive inside. The musician below deck playing while the storm rages overhead. The storyteller giving frightened sailors hope. The actor reminding men of humanity. The dancer bringing beauty into difficult and trying times. The artist reminding weary souls that the world still contains wonder. So do not despise the artistic sailor crew. And if you be such a soul yourself, do not despise what HaShem has placed in you. Bamidbar teaches us something powerful. The king counts every soul in the camp, not merely the loudest sailors, not merely the hardest sailors, not merely the warriors, but the artistic souls too, the wandering souls, the weary souls, the sensitive souls, the strange souls who never feel quite at home in the world around them. No soul is lost at sea before HaShem. And speaking of souls counted in the storm, there be an old tale from the sea that reminds us of what a true captain values most. There once was a captain who performed a census before every voyage, before the ropes were cast loose, before the sails caught wind, before the harbor fated before the stern. The captain called every sailor by name. And over the years, certain crewmen grew proud of their positions aboard the ship. When the carpenter's name was called, he answered loudly and proudly. When the accountant's name was called, he answered boldly. When the physician's name was called, he too stood tall, because he said to himself, Surely this ship cannot function without me. Each one of them believed this to be true. Each one of these people believed that surely the ship could not function without me. I am the most important person on this ship. But there was one sailor who rarely spoke loudly during the census, a quieter soul, an artistic sailor, a musician. He often sat below deck in the evenings, playing melodies while the lanterns swayed overhead. During terrible storms, while thunder shook the timbers, he would play music among the frightened crew, bringing calm to their trembling souls. And though many sailors found comfort in his songs, some aboard the vessel quietly mocked him. All he does is play an instrument. He merely entertains the crew. What type of worldly good could his talent and his skill have on anyone? He can't make money with such a trade. He contributes little beside music. And the captain heard these whispers. One night, a terrible storm struck the fleet. The sea roared like a beast. The waves crashed against the hull. Fear spread across the deck like wildfire. Strong sailors trembled. Officers shouted. Men prayed aloud in terror. And below deck, the musician played. Softly at first, then stronger, steadier, and slowly the panic aboard the vessel began to settle. Men breathed again. The storm had not vanished, but their souls no longer felt alone inside it. So one evening, before departure, after the storm had passed, the captain performed the census once more. He called the carpenter, the accountant, the physician, the officers, the helmsmen, the navigators, and finally, after a long silence, he called the musician last by name. The crew found this strange, and one of the officers finally asked, "Captain, why did you save the musician for last?" And the captain answered plainly, "Because tonight I wish the crew to remember something they have forgotten. When storms tear the mind apart, when fear grips the soul, when loneliness settles upon the deck like fog, it is often the artistic sailor who keeps men alive inside. The carpenter repairs the mast, aye. The physician repairs the body, aye, that is important. But the musician repairs the spirit. And I saved the most important sailor for last, so the crew would never again forget his worth. And I tell you true, crew, that Bamidbar, the King of Glory, counts souls. This world often overlooks the artistic souls, the quiet souls, the strange souls, the souls who carry beauty through the storm. No soul forgotten, no soul abandoned, no soul lost at sea. And so the wilderness teaches us something many sailors spend their entire lives trying to understand. Bamidbar teaches us that the wilderness does not erase identity, that banners still fly, the covenant still stands, and even the strange sailor, the artistic sailors, the weary souls who feel the storms more deeply than the others, remain counted beneath the banner of the King. No soul forgotten, no soul abandoned, no soul lost at sea. And perhaps tonight, some wandering sailor needed to hear exactly that. There be no souls out there. There be souls out there. Creative souls, artists, musicians, storytellers, craftsmen, dreamers, who spend half their lives being told to bury the very thing that HaShem has placed inside them. Be realistic, be normal, stop dreaming. That's just a hobby. You need to grow up. And after enough years of hearing it, a man begins to hide. Not because the fire inside him died, but because the world taught him that the fire made other people uncomfortable. There be souls walk in this world wearing masks they never thought that they would want to wear. They never planned on wearing the mask. Aye, some masks be made of pride. Some be made of fear. Some be made of survival. And some be made because the world only showed kindness to the version of them that fit inside the expectations of others. So the artist becomes an accountant who no longer paints. The singer stops singing. The writer stops writing. The dreamer learns to speak only in acceptable words. The storyteller hides his stories. And little by little, the mask becomes safer than the soul beneath it. But here be the tragedy, mates. When HaShem counted Israel in the wilderness, he did not count masks. He counted tribes, families, names, banners, identity, purpose, calling. Every tribe had its place around the Mishkan. And I tell you true, there be many souls in the generation wandering in the wilderness because they abandoned the banner HaShem gave them in order to wear a mask to make other people comfortable. And the cruelest part, the world often applauds the mask. They praise the performance. They reward the disguise. They celebrate the safer version of the soul. Deep beneath the surface, however, the real person begins to suffocate. But Bamidbar teaches us something powerful. HaShem did not say, count the people after they become someone else. No, he counted them where they stood, as they were, under their own banner. And perhaps there be some soul watching this voyage right now who has spent years hiding what HaShem has placed inside him. A musician, an artist, a teacher, a builder, a creator. And perhaps the reason your soul feels exhausted be because you have spent too many years wearing a mask that does not belong to you. A ship cannot sail long beneath another captain's colors before the crew forgets who they truly are. And neither can a soul. Bear that in mind. Be yourself. Be who HaShem has created you to be. And don't let them drag you down in the process. Yivarecha Adonai v'yisamrecha. Ya'er Adonai panav alecha v'yihunecha. Yasi Adonai panav alecha v'yasim lecha shalom. May the Holy One bless you and keep you, and may every wandering soul remember tonight that no soul is forgotten at sea. May the wind in your sails be filled with Hashem's righteousness, and may the evil urge plunge straight into Davy Jones' locker. Shabbat shalom, shalom. Enjoy Shabbat. May the Holy One, blessed be He, lead you in your own artistic expression. For those that have had it covered, who've been too afraid to put pen to paper, been too afraid to strum those notes on the instrument, been too afraid to take the hammer and chisel to the rock. Remove your mask. Let your true soul show. Because the world around you desperately needs the light that is under it. Shalom.